Records one old guy for now as Sydney's lockdown restrictions continue. Mike and I decided long ago to press on and to provide you with some segments that are fun about our favourite records and why we love them so much. This episode's a little bit different because through my discussions with friends over the last few weeks, this record, this single comes up all the time. It's always like, Vass, do you have this single? Of course I do, right? And so therefore, this is about this record. This episode is dedicated to Graham from Beverly Hills and Marinos from Belmore, because I'm talking about a song that has transgressed and transcended generations, decades and times. Even though it was brought out in 1980, even though it really represents the post-punk period, we're looking at Great Britain, this band has it all, a couple of albums, a few singles, a tragedy that transformed them into some kind of myth. I'm talking none other than Love Will Tear Us Apart and Joy Division. What a song that, it's been, recognised in lists ever since as being one of the best songs ever to have been written and released. But before we go there, let's have a look at Joy Division. It's amazing how the Sex Pistols, changed the sonic landscape of what rock was, because when they went to Manchester in 1976, Peter Hook, the bass player from Joy Division, Bernard Sumner, who would become the lead guitarist in Joy Division, were there. They weren't friends, but they were there. And what the Sex Pistols showed, young aspiring musicians, was they can do it also. And there's a great story where Peter Hook borrows 35 pounds from his mum to buy himself a bass guitar. But yes, it's Bernard Sumner and Peter Hook that get together, and then of course Ian Curtis joins them on vocals. They're called Warsaw at the time, after David Bowie's song. And it's funny how David Bowie keeps on coming up, even though we're talking about post-punk and punk here. David Bowie's influence is always there. There's a couple of lineup changes until we get Stephen Morris on drums, and everything happens very, very quickly. The band changes their name to Joy Division. Now, this is the sex slavery unit attached to Nazi concentration camps during World War II, Joy Division. And their first EP, An Ideal of Living, comes out on a very, very fledgling record label called Factory Records. And then they come up with their album Unknown Pleasure, which is it's regarded as one of the best debuts of the time. And Factory Records, the fledgling record company, is making money out of this. It's a hit. It's a very culty, independent hit. There's also a single called Transmission. It's a non-LP song, and that is a sort of hit, an indie hit. Things move very, very fast. Joy Division, acquire a following. They start touring. Ian Curtis, is a troubled soul. He is. He has epilepsy. And as it gets a little bit more intense, especially with the second album, Closer, another song called Atmosphere. They're touring. He's becoming exhausted, and he's having these seizures even on stage. I can say also that he's experiencing marital problems with Deborah Woodruff. And they're on the verge of a breakdown in their marriage. There is rumours that he was seeing a Belgian journalist called Anneke Honoré. But yes, there was that also. Now, on the night before the band was meant to go on a US-Canada tour, he returns home. He tells his wife to drop the legal proceedings for a divorce. He asks for to spend some time in the house alone. She says okay, and she returns the following day to find him hanging in the kitchen. So Ian Curtis took his life. A very, very tragic episode. For Curtis, for the band, for music, and it's so ironic that the song "Love Will Tear Us Apart" is released only a couple of weeks after his suicide, and his wife actually inscribes it on his tombstone, "Love Will Tear Us Apart." Oh my God, this is legendary stuff. And you can see all of this in the movie Control, which looks at, Ian Curtis's life and Joy Division. But let's go to the song now. "Love Will Tear Us Apart" is an autobiographical song. There's so many references to Ian Curtis's life and his marriage falling apart. There's lines such as, "Why is the bedroom so cold? You've turned away on your side. Is my timing so flawed? Our respect runs dry, so dry." So yes, it looks at the breakdown of a love affair, in this case his marriage. It is a song for the age. As I said, it transcends all generations. We can all empathize with the way love will tear us apart in some cases. It's there's something to love about this song, whether it's Ian Curtis couldn't play guitar, but they taught him the D chord, and that he's the one that actually strums the D chord. So you've got this strumming, but then you've got this really, really dreamy synthesizer that comes all the way through it. It's such an iconic melody. And then you've got, of course, Ian Curtis's vocals. It's a very, very sad song, where he sort of admits, he can't function anymore. And yes, this love affair, he can't function. There is also maybe a reference to his epilepsy when he talks about this taste in his mouth, maybe from all the seizures. But yes, "Love Will Tear Us Apart," an iconic song. And like I said, in so many lists decades afterwards, it still tops the charts as one of the best songs ever written. Like, for example, here in Australia, JJJ had its inaugural top 100s, and several years, maybe 10 years afterwards, all these inaugural top 100s voted, "Love Will Tear Us Apart" as the #1 song for 2 years in a row. NME, for example, the English magazine had, a top 500, in 2002 or in the early 2000s anyway. And this was voted, again, #1 song ever. In the Rolling Stone magazine top 500, again, this features in it. So it is a well-recognized song as being amazing. It's a great song, and it really, it probably really comes from Ian Curtis's, heart. Every word counts, especially after the tragedy. So, were you into "Love Will Tear Us Apart," Joy Division? Did you come on board afterwards when they became, the surviving members of Joy Division became New Order? Did you love this song? Tell us all about it. Keep those comments coming through. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on our Facebook page, and share these episodes with your friends. Tomorrow we've got a new segment, and I can't wait. So I'll see you tomorrow with a new segment. See you later.